streaming live. Here, help that time. Now let's go.
Hello. Alright, I'm posting this to Facebook so that I can tell people we're here.
We are here.
So let's post to Facebook.
So the reason we did this, we're doing these videos. We did one last week with Matt Wellman from what is he? He is epipemods.com and steamsigs.com. And we talked about this new call to action and what it means and what it's for and why it has to be very targeted. So we're going to talk about it some more, and if anybody pops in and asks questions, we will be able to address those. But right now we're just waiting for people to pop into the chat, so we'll vamp a little bit.
Hey, it's JoJo.
Talk about...
Hey, JoJo.
There's JoJo. Hello, JoJo. We're going to talk about Arkansas real quick. Today we got word that a new bill was essentially introduced yesterday, and they're trying to push for this bill to be ramrodded right into the governor's desk.
It's Senate Bill 978.
Yeah, so anybody that's in Arkansas that really wants to save vaping in that state needs to jump on the ball and get everything going, because it looks like tomorrow is the day that you gotta act. And these last minute issues, they're sneaking up on us. I mean, it's not anybody's fault. Well, it's the government's fault, but you know, the issues have to be addressed quickly, and this is not something that we can put off. I mean, everybody needs to be ready for tomorrow. So there is a call to action on CASAA. I put a post up on the Vaping Militia's Facebook, kind of highlighting and
there's
asking
a
people.
post.
And
there's a post on National Vapers Club as well.
Okay, and National Vapers Club. So everybody's getting the information out there. We really need people to act as quickly as possible in Arkansas. And also this FDA deal is quite important. So everybody needs to go through the guidelines that CASAA put out. We've kind of authored some kind of comments guide. National Vapers Club and the militia, we sat around and came up with some instructions to help you. And if anybody has any specific questions, obviously you can contact us directly. We'll try to help you as much as possible. Howdy Spyglass Vapor, that are out of Houston. There's some good fellows over there. So right now...
Oh, are you Liking?
Hmm?
Nacht?
Yeah. We met them in Dallas a few weeks ago. Was that 2 weeks ago already? The Spyglass Vapor guys that are in the chat room.
Oh, yes, okay. Sorry, they were just breaking up. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, yes. So, essentially, kind of a little bit background. The FDA did a workshop back in December, which was covering a lot of hardware issues, juice chemistry, all sorts of stuff like that, variability in the product. So they had all these people on a panel, and really and truly, none of the people that we would consider experts in vaping were allowed to participate. So what we're doing is they have opened up a comment docket on the FDA's website, and it allows us to submit information, to give them stuff to research on the subjects that they discussed in that workshop, and only the things that were discussed in that workshop. So that's why these comments have to be very specifically targeted, and that's why we're doing this, to help people kind of usher them through the process.
And it's not that you can't your comments based around hardware, like your devices, your tanks, your juice. What else?
What we originally were thinking is they were going to want specifically science, but subsequent to that we found out that any relevant conversation that is occurring, and it could be on ECF, it could be in one of the other forums, Vaping Underground, it could be a blog that you've read somewhere. As long as it's factual and pertinent to that information, you can go and create a PDF file of that information that's on that blog or on that forum and submit it to them, because right now we need to just give them as much information as possible, specifically on the juice, on nicotine, and the hardware, because that's exactly what that workshop was focused on. Right now, they just passed, or maybe 3 weeks ago, they had another one, which was the second of these workshops. And I know that there's another one planned in the future that will cover different aspects. So right now, this call to action specifically is about comments to the one in December, to get the relevant data to them.
So let's back up a little bit. You mentioned that they should download these forums to a PDF file and submit them. Why can't they just submit links?
Well, links, they have no, there's no rules telling them that they have to read anything that's a link outside of their source or outside of their network. But if you send them the actual document, they are required to read it at least. So any information that you send to them,
and if
they have to.
Matt just got back. He's on his way in. Yeah, so it is very important that whatever you submit, if you want them to read a specific portion of a forum or something, that you do include it in a PDF and attach it instead of just. And one of the things that I wanted to say is that it's real important that you not only that yourself get involved, but you get as many people to do this as possible, because once you submit your comment, you should copy and paste it and post it to your legislators, send it to your legislators along with all of your attachments as well, because the grandfather date is still 2007, and FDA cannot change that.
No, and it's
really important that your congressman,
there is a call to action on CASAA specifically targeting the grandfather date, and we mentioned that in the last broadcast. Just because we're asking you to focus on this one right now, you really should go and act on all of the calls to action, on whether it's on the Vaping Militia, whether it's on CASAA, whether it's on SFATA, whether it's on the National Vapers Club site, anything that affects you, whether it's your state or a national issue or a local issue. Really and truly, you need to be as active as possible, and the only way to do that is if people actually do stuff, you know. But this particular...
And also be proactive as well. If there...
Definitely, everybody...
You know, if there isn't anything going on in your state, or
I see that there's a lot of hugs and loves
sorry,
going on in the chat room here. No, definitely.
We're such a loving group.
As a vapor, you should be as active in politics as anybody else, and probably more so. So you need to have already, I mean, we've put up letter writing campaigns on the Vaping Militia blogs, giving you detailed instructions on how to interface, how to write letters to your politicians. And it's kind of important because right now they see us as a very small segment of their voter population. And we know that that's not the actual truth. That's not how we are. I mean, there's 21 million Americans. Voter population. And we know that that's not the actual truth. That's not how we are. Well, hey, I got an echo now.
There we go.
It's showing.
There's our very good friend.
I was trying to make it right before I came in, and
That's all right.
Sorry about that.
We are the kings of technical difficulties.
It's messed up all the screen shares, so there we go.
No, it's fixed. I had already planned. I knew where he was going to go.
Woohoo!
Oh, and you know, Robin, I love you too. So anyway, very robotic. I'm assuming that means that our sound is robotic. I'm not dropping very many frames, so I don't know why. But back to the call to action. Matt, we were talking about, you know, just recapping what we talked about last week, and kind of giving everybody a background on what this call to action is for and why we're doing it. As a hardware manufacturer, you might be able to point out things that I didn't. So go for it.
Well, I don't know what you guys have already talked about, so
well, just
telling me to go for it. I'm just going to reiterate what you already said.
Well, no, go from the point of view as a hardware manufacturer. All the different things that you've done to your product from the beginning till now. You've made safety changes. You've helped develop the Vape Safe. You've done all sorts of really cool stuff, all in the name of safety. And, obviously demanded by the consumer, or at least requested by the consumer.
Right. I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, this whole industry is consumer driven. I mean, everything every advancement that we've made in electronic cigarettes, from from the point of it being a cig-alike forward. It started with the cig-alike, and there was stuff before that, but regardless, from the cig-alike forward, all of that was stuff where the consumer said, let's make this better. And the mod manufacturers and hobbyists and stuff found out safe. We were going and figure out what we to put places, things, vape safe fuse, resettable fuses, all these little features that are commonplace in mods now. Those came from something, and those came from consumer request. Us as mod makers, we weren't the only ones blowing up batteries. Stuff went out and bad things happened, and people were like, we need to do something about this. So we were like, okay, well, what can we do? So, I mean, the entire industry, not just mods, tanks, all of the revisions of tanks and atomizers, the rebuildable atomizer, that was all requests from the consumer. So you're fighting for your own requests here when you comment on the FDA, on these FDA hearings. This is the stuff that you guys wanted. This is the stuff that you guys asked for, and the FDA is trying to take it away.
The no fun police.
Yeah.
And these are the things that you should be including in your comments. The safety of the device that you're using, what device you're using, why you're using it, what benefit it has for you. I know that certain people still use cargo tanks and cartomizers and those kinds of things still, because that's how they get their satisfaction. So so what is it about your device that is satisfying to you, and why and because if what would happen if it went away? If your device was no longer available, what would you do?
Well, we know that product variability is very important to the success that we boost. I mean, we have a lot higher success rate than any other NRT or smoking cessation plan or program. So we know that, and obviously that's something that you need to talk about, is your journey from the first item that you picked up might have been a cig-alike, or it might have been an ego, and obviously some people that works perfectly fine for, and that's all they need. But then other people, you may be one of them, required something else, whether it was more voltage, better flavor, any of those things are very important, and we need to let the FDA know that they need to consider that information. Your personal testimonial is not a scientific study, but if we send them 1 million letters, or and like I said a while ago, 21 million users in the United States is what the most recent numbers are. That means that a very small percentage of people need to get their comments in. I mean, 1 million comments to any FDA docket is higher than anything that's ever been done. I mean, the last the deeming docket was one of the highest, and that was only 71,000 comments. So I mean,
so we need to step it up and get those comments in. We need to bury them with information. We need to send them the studies, the discussions from the forums, your personal stories. Everything will amount to something, and maybe with that much information, they will have to give us a place in these workshops in the future. And we've also, in the guidelines that we have constructed, we have links to a Google Drive that has a lot of these PDFs on it already. So you can just pick ones that you like, or that you want to discuss, or that are meaningful to you, and you can just include them. It's already been done. So
Yeah, we've tried to make this this whole process as easy and laid out for you as possible. You know, as far as access to the full studies and different attachments, and you know, I encourage you take screenshots of you know, the forums that you're on and how the customers are asking a mod manufacturer to do this with their mod, and then you know, another screenshot of 2 months later how to get this. That's the kind of the it's a very consumer market. Really, in this sense, in themselves, you know, most to the guys in the forum, they know what they're after. They know what's safe, what's not safe. I asked and moving the food, the juice manufacturers get their flavorings from. I mean, I don't know if you guys know how in depth this is, but like as a juice manufacturer myself, I don't remove the diacetyl from your juice. I don't put diacetyl in your juice, and I don't remove it from your juice. It's the flavoring manufacturers that the vendors actually went to the flavoring manufacturers because they had customers coming to them saying, we don't want diacetyl in our juice. So vendors went to the flavoring manufacturers that they buy their flavoring from and said, hey, we need flavoring with no diacetyl. So I mean, we're affecting markets well outside of the e-cig realm, and you guys are the ones that are driving the safety and driving the concerns for safety. So let the FDA know that that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm getting comments that we're breaking up. Are you guys able to hear us okay? Because I don't know, they're just like, do you know that you guys are breaking up? So I don't know if they're able to hear us.
I don't want to break up.
I don't. It's me. It's not you.
I can hear you guys fine, but I'm not listening to the feed. So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not either. So I don't know. Yeah. Okay, we're fine now. Okay, I guess we were breaking up. Okay.
So that link that's in the chat is a document that we've worked on, and it kind of gives you instructions, background, helpful links, all sorts of stuff. And there's lots. There's just in, you know, that's a 4-page document that we put together, I think. Is it 4 pages?
And there's also additional resources on there. You know, grammar checker, spell checker, plagiarism checker. You know, all of these additional resources to help you, and we're available as well. Their email addresses are at the top of the document. If you need help making a PDF, or if you need help getting a screenshot, or you know, anything like that, just go ahead and email us, and we'll definitely help you do that.
You can't find the full study of something you want to use, or you know, specifications for a mod or something like that. Anything, guys. We're willing to help you out. Like we said, we want to bombard the FDA with information. So
yeah, the more stuff they have to read, the longer it's going to take for them. And like, you know, we really want the right people to be able to participate in these workshops. We need people that are in vaping or segment of vaping. I mean, wouldn't it be evolved their necks and shake them until they understand that they don't know enough about vaping at this point to regulate it.
yeah. Yeah, we as members of the industry and members of the forums, we know far more than they know. I mean, up until about a year ago, I think they were all surprised when they saw a mod that didn't look like an e-cig, and they were like, oh, you can do more than cartomizers with this? You mean you can refill your juice? That's weird. I think we're getting glitched again.
I know. I really am not smart enough to figure out what's wrong.
It might just be an internet speed thing. Every time I used to watch these shows, this was a constant thing.
I usually have.
Can you guys still hear us, or are you
Are we there yet?
The chat's not even moving.
Maybe that nobody's typing. Oh, there's Jeannie. Okay.
Oh, yeah, they're there. You can hear us now. Awesome. An ongoing Verizon commercial tonight. I hope you enjoy it.
Now? Can you hear me? So, you know, everybody should know by now how to find out who their legislator is.
Jeannie says, "Put me on stick cam."
Oh, we don't
we
have
could
stick
freeze
anymore.
side cams. Stick 'em. That's what it is.
Yeah, we don't have Stickem anymore, sadly. They had this really cool thing where you could, all the viewers could actually turn their webcams on, and, you know, well, a certain number of the viewers could, and then you could see the people that are actually watching the show.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that was back when I first started viewing Vapers on the internet, was on Stickam. But yeah, so anyway, by now everybody should know how to find out who your legislator is, but there's multiple tools. If you just do Jeannie says that she hated them.
That's on
openstates.org/find your legislator. There's multiple versions of that, though. I mean, you can just do a Google search for "find my legislator," and you'll get links to your legislator. Right now, the FDA.
There's a link to it. Militia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all about people being active in their political process and actually, producing their legislation. There are way too many people out there, and I know, I'll get all political for a minute, but there are way too many people out there that are registered voters that only vote once every 4 years. They only vote for the big stuff, but these little elections are important. And people need to realize that, your local legislative process is just as important as the national one. And you need to interface with your politicians. Otherwise, you're paying them your tax dollars to represent you, and they're not actually representing you because they don't know what your views are. But,
sorry, guys.
So your FDA comment, once you've and I want you to spend time doing it. I want you to actually sit down in front of your computer and start writing your letter and, doing your internet searches. Use some Google Foo if you have some, and, find stuff. And, you might be able to find something that I haven't already found and put in the Google Drive or in our legislative packet that may be very beneficial to the fight. So, the only thing is, Time magazine articles maybe not be the most important aspect. You need to find news for vapers by vapers. You know, go to the ECF threads. Make sure that it's a relevant thing. You know, there are a lot of threads on ECF and Vaping Underground and whatever forums that are out there. Obviously, are maybe not good conversations. Maybe, you know, the ones that, you know, everybody's dropping the F-bombs and, you know, we don't definitely need a million comments of people saying, you can't fucking take my vaping away. That's not going to be helpful at all.
Yeah.
What are important letters in a respectful way with relevant data, you know, and a conversation between a mod maker and a consumer talking about the evolution of their product, that is important. But that, you know,
yeah, Jeannie just brought up a great point. You know, write about what you know
yeah.
or like. Don't get into this huge thing on batteries if you don't know about batteries, or if you don't know, you know, the safety behind batteries, or, you know, that sort of stuff. But if you do, you know, write about that. You know, write about how, you know, the regulated mods make it safer because of, Matt can explain that a lot better than I can. But, you know, I wouldn't write about battery safety because, you know, I don't use that sort of technology in my devices. So write about what you know. Write about what matters to you. You know, write about juice if you are really into juice, or DIY, or, you know, I mean, that sort of stuff.
There's plenty of guys out there that get really deep into, you know, the aspects of their mod and the contacts, you know, the materials that the mod's made out of and the metals that are used, and, you know, amp loss and voltage drop and blah, blah, blah. These guys can go on for hours and hours about, you know, their hobby. And those guys need to be writing hours and hours of content to the FDA about, this is why what I do and this is what's important to me, you know? I mean, we talk about it all the time in the shops, and it obviously means a lot to you because you spend an awful lot of time talking about it and purchasing these things. So explain to the FDA what you're explaining to your buddy at the store and why you bought this mod and why it's so awesome, and, you know, what it does and what it means to you, and how it's better than the other one.
Yes, mention who you look to for information also. You know, if you know, a good example is Zen, you know.
Yeah.
He's a wealth of information.
Yes, you know, he has a lot of posts and things like that on safety and you know, these sorts of things, and different tank systems, and, you know, he even put his own mods out there, you know, the specs and everything, you know, for the Zen, which one, do you remember? I think it was, which one did he put the specs out for?
I think all of his stuff is open
the
source.
Z2? Yeah, all of his stuff is open source, and so that people can improve on his design and can improve in you know, so to keep this, because someone might have an idea. I mean, for example,
right now, yeah, Jason, this is the only place it's broadcast, but we will save it and publish it on YouTube later this evening, so that you can share it with your friends and tell them, you know, you need to, you know, go and listen to these people and spread the word, because right now, I'm afraid, I mean, I haven't been to the docket today, so I don't know what the current number of comments that have been counted, but we need to bury them, because they do not know what we know. They don't know why a mod works for one person and doesn't work for another, because everybody's fucking different. Chantix works for some people, it kills 300 others. So, I mean, everybody is different, and everybody's journey to stop smoking is going to go on a different path. And we need to have as many open pathways as possible. So we need to talk them into allowing us space at the table to discuss why this product should not be over-regulated beyond what is reasonable.
I just got an update. There is only 791 comments received so far right now.
Yeah.
So we have until April 15th to handle them.
The modern technology, I'm going to be guideline thing that we wrote up into the ePipe forum, and I'll post it on ECF. But something as simple as a MOSFET switch. I have a little wiring diagram for a dual battery mod with a MOSFET going to your switch, and just an explanation of that and why we use that and how this is important to vaping, because you don't get direct current through the switch, and just go in and just give them all kinds of specs and shit that just blows their mind. And really what that does is it says there is so much involved in a mod, just a single mod, let alone the thousands of mods that are out there, that how are you going to regulate this? How are you going to even begin to fathom what's acceptable and what's not? Because you could take a mechanical mod with just a regular straight wired switch, and then a MOSFET mod that's basically, it could look identical, but the addition of that MOSFET would require an entirely new registration process for that mod through the FDA.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a minor change that would require that mod to go through a registration process, not registration, compliance and adherence to their guidelines, and it would have to go through an approval process. And that approval process for each individual device is thousands of dollars to get these devices approved.
That's a really good point. I don't think that people, and JD just mentioned about how, the other channels have all these people in them and we have so few. But, people need to realize that if this happens, there's no more stores. There's, there is no mods. There's no cloud comps. There's no conventions. There's no vape meets. There's no everything going on, and people. Yeah, it's like, ask them, and when you're in your local store, ask them what they're doing for the FDA comments. Have they submitted their comments? Are they encouraging their customers to submit comments? JD says that he's really involved. He gets his people involved. Matt's having a advocacy meeting at his store to get people involved in this. So ask your vendors. Don't be afraid to ask them. Be like, what are you doing about this? What have you submitted your comments? If not, why? Why? Why not?
And right now, the correct answer should be, we are working diligently and researching as thoroughly as possible to be able to submit a substantive comment that we will hope gives them information that they need. We have until April 15th, and I don't want everybody to rush out and just write a quick comment. They need to put some thought into this. It needs to be really targeted, specifically focusing on the hardware and the e-juice chemistry, and there will be other comment dockets opening for the subsequent workshops as they pass.
Actually, the third comment period is already open. The third and final comment period is already open.
Oh, really? So
yes.
Yeah, we need to hammer all three dockets then.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. They're kind of snowballing us with this stuff and throwing all three comment periods out pretty much at the same time. So just giving you guys a heads up on that too. The final comment period. Hold on, let me pull it up in my email real quick so I get the dates straight. And they've actually asked for speakers for this, and we're signing up to speak at this. We, meaning National Vapers Club, are signing up to speak at the FDA's final hearing. The final hearing will be held on June 1st and 2nd, and you can submit comments up until July 2nd for the third and final comment period.
We have time to hit that after this. You know, right now everybody needs to focus on this first comment, and you know, we'll build guidelines for commenting on the other dockets as you know this one retires. You know, obviously we have more stuff in the future.
And in the document, up at the top is also our email addresses. If you would like to have, you know, have your review checked, not your review, your comment checked, you know, to make sure that, you know, the grammar, spelling, or, you know, or if you have questions, please email us. Vaping Militia and NVC's email addresses are up at the top. So if you have questions or need help or anything, please reach out to us, and we'd be more than happy to help you submit your comment properly. I just posted the guidelines again. You can feel free to share this link. It is part where you can download the guidelines and read over them. It's just a way to work in conjunction with the CASAA call to action. With just a little bit more information that is, you know, could be useful to somebody, and also the links to the Google Drive with all of the documents. Make sure that you do take a look at that, because you can just download those as PDFs and go ahead and attach them. They're already done, you know, to your comment. But make sure that you are attaching something.
Right.
Yeah. You don't want to submit a comment with nothing attached to it.
Well,
attach something.
I can guarantee you, if REI, which is R.J. Reynolds Vapor division, if they follow suit like they did for the deeming, they submitted a 50-page document as their comment, with, you know, tons of comments in regards to how the FDA should immediately ban open systems. And then, in addition to their very long document, they included over 50
attachments.
Attachments, yes, 50 exhibits. Exhibit 1, Exhibit 1 through 50. So, you know, if they follow suit, they're going to do the same thing again.
Yep.
And, you know, they're going to do their best to do the product as possible to try to take control of right now. We are, you know, vaping systems, non-cigarette products. We have the have over half the part of our team. And the system is 2.5 billion. So we have a big stake in this game, and they want to take that away from us. That's, you know, an additional 4.5 billion or 2.5 billion dollars for their coffers.
Yeah, why give 2.5 billion to somebody when you can keep it for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So yeah, we need everybody to really put thought into this. It can't be, you know, you can't fucking take my system, my mods away from me, blah blah blah. I hate you. This has to be, you know, please consider my story. I smoked for 30 years. I was unable to quit using traditional means. I tried everything that was available on the market, and it just didn't work for me. And then I found my first electronic cigarette. I was able to quickly transition, and this is just my version, quickly transition from a combustible product to a non-combustible product. And obviously, with the evolving market, I was able to find better products that helped me lower my nic level and blah blah blah. This is, you know, how better I am. And without the, you know, variability of the product, I would not have been able to quit smoking.
Just pulling some more people in here from some different shops around my area that aren't going to be able to attend my store meet tomorrow night.
Well, I mean, Georgia's a hotbed too.
Yeah, we just had city ban vaping, and there's actually shops that are most likely going to have to close down because they can't vape in their store. So,
yeah,
and the city will not write an exemption for the vape shops.
Yeah, I know that Arkansas. I'll go. We talked about Arkansas at the beginning of the broadcast. Yesterday, a bill was introduced. Essentially, introduced yesterday. Tomorrow is the day that vapers in Arkansas, big businesses, if you're a vapor, you need to mobilize, because they are predicting that this could possibly hit the governor's desk by Friday. So
which is insane.
They're expecting to push this through super fast. And there is a call to action regarding this on CASAA. NVC's put up posts about it. The relevant information that I have been able to get is posted on the Vaping Militia. Everybody that is hearing the sound of my voice, or not hearing the sound of my voice, but you need to spread the word. If you're in Arkansas, tomorrow is D-Day, and you better be ready.
I should have the Twitter accounts up for that by tonight too, so they should be available by tomorrow.
You can tweet your legislator.
You can tweet them, yes.
Yes, and I love Twitter. We just need to make sure, until we know who the enemy is, that we don't assault. All
no, this is just the committee, the House committee, that is hearing the bill tomorrow. So it would be the reject this bill type Twitter feeds.
Well, Spyglass, really and truly, you are the one that you should talk to about doing an advocacy meeting in your shop. Obviously, we can't be everywhere, so you need to educate yourself and call every freaking shop in your town in Houston. I know where you are, and get everybody to sit around the table and discuss what's going on. We can help you with that. But
if you want, I can briefly go over what I'm going to be talking about in my store tomorrow, to just give them an idea.
Do it.
Okay.
Okay. The PDF download, Malice, can you throw that PDF download link up?
It's right above his comment.
Okay. Yeah. Download that link and make like 30 or 40 or however many copies you think you're going to need for that link. Schedule a date in your store and schedule it quick. Schedule it for like the beginning of next week. Facebook, blast it out on Facebook. If you have state groups that follow you and follow your store, blast it out on there. Tell them you're going to be holding an advocacy meeting at your store. Blast it out on your state advocacy group if there's a state advocacy page. And get people in the store, hand out those flyers, and then basically what you need to do is you need to just reiterate everything we're talking about in this meeting right now. The guideline it's exactly that. It's a guideline. It will help you discuss all of the major talking points that you're going to need to discuss with your consumer base, and let them know the topics that the FDA wants to discuss in this. And again, if you do hold, one of the things at the bottom of that guideline sheet is a thing about rallying the troops, pulling in outside agencies. I'm tied in with the NFIB. I'm actually going to watch a seminar on how the NFIBs will help with so there's something you can do, and then getting people into your store for the advocacy group and teamwork. When you for instance, me, Nacht, and Mal have spent the last week compiling everything from the last show and putting together this document that is the guidelines. We use Google Docs, and all three of us can get on the Google Doc at the same time. I mean, Malice is in Arizona. Where are you, Nacht? In Texas?
I'm in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Yeah, and I'm in Georgia. So we're way, way far apart. We can all get into the same document and start tweaking that document. And you could do the same thing with a letter. If you work in teams, it makes it more fun. It's more enjoyable. You're not working by yourself. You can double check each other's work. You can get into each other's documents and make adjustments and comments. If you work as a team, and I encourage you to use that tool and tell people in your advocacy meet to use that tool and even demonstrate it for them in the advocacy.
And not only the Google Documents, use Hangouts. Get people involved like we're doing right now in a Hangout, and work on the document together while you're just hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta make it fun to some extent, and that's part of what will make it fun. Is you get little groups together, and people love the social nature of vaping. We love the social nature of smoking, and we just reincorporated that into vaping. So carry that into your advocacy meets, and have people break off into groups. I mean, people naturally do it anyway, and just do what already is working with that.
And the other thing is, I mean, this, Spyglass, they're a vape shop in Houston. They need to make a comment on this docket as Spyglass Vapor. And every employee that works there should also make a personal comment. If every vape shop in America did one comment, and then every vapor that buys product at their shop were to do a comment, we would be able to bury them.
Yeah. I mean, there are what, 20,000 shops. That's 20,000 people making comments right there. And then if you get all of your employees making a comment, all the employees of a shop making a comment, that's 100,000.
And also you could, to promote your advocacy meet, you can get, I know that some receipts you can type in to where it can personalize like a little message at the bottom, be like, please come to our advocacy meet on whatever, or get little flyers and put them in the bags, or, when people come in and buy stuff, make sure everybody has one, to spread the word so that people can come to your, your advocacy meet, and especially if you are in, if you talk to the other stores in your area, be like, hey, I'm trying to get together, get this advocacy thing going on, I mean, and do it weekly, do it bi-weekly, as many times as you can.
Yeah, especially
it'll be awesome. Oh, Raven.
Especially for this comment period. Now, you don't have to submit your comments the first meet you bring it back, and somebody can look at it and say, yeah, that's good, submit it.
Yeah, and not to divert attention away from the FDA thing, but I'm gonna pick on Spyglass for a second. Spyglass, you're in Houston, and we have 11 active bills in Texas. After you do this FDA thing, you need to immediately jump on doing an advocacy meet specifically just on Texas.
Yeah.
Every shop in the country should be doing stuff like this. I know that I'm not a cloud chaser, but they are vapors too. And right now we need to take a little bit of the attention away from the weekly cloud meetings and cloud competitions to push this message right now.
Yeah.
If we don't push this message now, I know those guys come in and buy stuff and spend money, and they are going to want to fight for the ability to continue to blow massive clouds, just as much as the people that don't. So, you know, we can't cut them out of the game completely, but we need to let them know, hey, for the next couple months, we're going to cut down on the cloud competitions in the shop so that we can focus on getting people active politically, and keeping you the ability to continue to do your giant clouds, you know?
Yeah, and another thing, Spyglass, call your surrounding vape shops.
Mm-hmm.
Call the owners. I know, like, there's a lot of competition between vape shops. The first advocacy meet that I held was over a year ago, and I was really surprised because I put a call out to a bunch of different vape shops, and then those owners were like, well, let me call this other owner. I actually ended up having more vape shop owners and vape shop representatives in my store than consumers. And unfortunately, that's kind of the way of it. They're more financially invested in things, so they're going to be more naturally. But if you can get your vape shop, you know, here's the page, and here's where you can download the PDF for the page. Go and download the PDF for the page and do the same thing in your store. You know, and put up a chalkboard in your store that's, you know, the advocacy chalkboard. This is what we're talking about this week. This is what needs your attention this week. You know, there's a lot of different things you can do to promote advocacy in your store. We have an entire table and a bulletin board that has the NVC legislative packet, the NVC consumer packet, CASAA, a CASAA plaque, the Vape Militia stuff, what's going on in the state right now. I mean, it's an entire desk table set up with flyers and the corkboard, bulletin board. I mean, there's a lot you can do with that. So get creative with the advocacy thing.
Because we're all we got, people. There's nobody fighting for us. Everybody's fighting against us. And so that's why it's real important that you talk to people about advocacy and ask you know, ask people what they're doing. You know, have they submitted their comments yet? Post on your personal page, post on your group pages. You know, try to get people involved. When you go to local vape meets at shops, you know, bring some stuff about advocacy and see if they'll let you talk about it. Because if no one's fighting for us, we have to fight for ourselves. You know, we don't have, you know, taxpayer dollars in the amount of $74 million for California that they just forked over?
$75 million.
$75 million to fight against us in California.
For a cheesy campaign that we crushed.
We crushed that.
Not to,
you know, just
divert the attention, but we crushed.
You guys aren't familiar with what's happening in California. It's very, very, very interesting, and I'm sure poor Nacht's hands hurt from tweeting so much. And but I mean, you know, this is what can happen. I mean, this is a win for us. This is what happens when we band together and we fight. You know, just having one person do it isn't gonna matter. You know, so you know, we all we got, and people. Even cloud chasers or you know, people, I don't vape nicotine, you know, well, they still need to get involved, you know.
Yeah, they're not just going after Juice with Nick. I mean, they've already put the groundwork in place when they can throw a study out there, and it's already been done, that claims that they found nicotine in juice that was marketed as Zero Nic. So they've already got the groundwork laid. They're going to go after anything that looks like smoking, whether it has Nic in it or not.
And I am going to so butcher your name, Pidliniar. So horrible with names. But yes, I mean, all the shops aren't going to participate in advocacy, but they should. And those are the shops that you should frequent. You know, ones that are just there just to make a quick buck and don't care about you as a vapor. You know, I don't hold those shops in very high regard. So, you know, there are shops out there who do participate in advocacy and are interested in helping keeping vaping safe and legal and available, you know, to people who wish to stop smoking. So I applaud you in your efforts.
That's a part of advocacy in and of itself, supporting the people that support you and supporting the stores that support you. You know, it's not just writing your legislator, it's writing that store that's not participating in advocacy and railing them for why aren't you doing anything,
right?
You know.
And you know, we really, I can't stress the importance of this. They're never going to give us a seat at the table unless we promote ourselves. Well, respectfully demand it.
Yeah, respectfully demand it. Yeah, but you know, just sitting around doing nothing isn't going to get us a seat at the table.
No, and you know, it's important that everybody participate in this, regardless of whether you don't normally participate in advocacy. If you want to be in business in a couple years, you better step up now. You know, we've always told our vapors, we've always promoted that, you know, it's right on our advocacy card. You support the shops that are doing it right. The shops that are fighting for you are the ones that you need to vote with your dollars. And that's, you know, that's how you do it. You buy products from people that you know are going to defend vaping and do everything they can do to keep the doors open.
Yep.
Because imagine if you wake up tomorrow and it's all gone. What are you going to do? You know? And people are going to be like, oh, well, you know, and someone should have done something. Well, that's what we're trying to do, you know. Somebody should have done something, and then I realized I am someone. You know, I am somebody, and I do have a voice, and I should be heard.
I don't know where everybody in the chat room is from, but right now, like I said a while ago, I'm in Texas. We have 11 bills that are active. Some of them are further in than others. But right now, we fight every bill like it's going to win. And we need to do everything we can do to stop it. And that's what everybody else should be doing in their own states. If you think that a bill has any chance in hell of passing, you need to let your politicians know, hey, you know what? I'm a voter. And my views on this product are X, Y, and Z. I need to know how you are going to vote on this because, you know, most voters, whether you're a vapor, you're an anti-abortionist, whether you're gay, whether you know, most voters are single issue voters. There's one key issue that decides who they're going to vote for. And this is my key issue. And there are 21 million of my brothers and sisters that are out there that could easily become a single issue voter if you make it impossible for us to continue to use this disruptive technology that has saved our lives.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
that's a powerful message.
It is. And on the same token, at the end of that briefing, or towards the end of that briefing, you'll see that you need to take your comment to the FDA, the attachments and everything, and copy and paste that into an email to your legislator, to your state legislators, and send that to your representatives, because there is a grandfather clause that's in the current FDA regulations that basically says anything before 2007, which nothing existed before 2007, will not be grandfathered in. And the only people that can change that is Congress. So you need to copy what you send to the FDA, forward it on to your legislator, and at the top put, "This is my response to the FDA's comment period, and I need you to act on this and tell the FDA they have to change the grandfather clause to a later date, preferably like now." Well, preferably like 2015.
On a technical
Even
note,
if they were back to 2015 or 2013, I mean, imagine what wasn't available in 2013 that is available now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even in my career, I started out at the beginning in 2008. Yeah, 2008. And, when 510s came along, it was exciting news. Oh my God. It was like, oh my God, and people were hanging from the chandeliers and talking about how great 510s were. And then, and then the little PCC thing came along and people were like losing their minds over that, and then, I teased Matt a lot about his blue foam video. But then the blue foam came along, and then everyone lost their minds over that. And then there was this big, huge argument on whether blue foam or tea bags were the best thing to put in your cartridge. It was this huge thing. And nowadays, people don't even know that because they're arguing about over builds.
Mm-hmm.
That grandfather date. I mean, look at the grandfather date, 2007, and then think, okay, so what is a good grandfather date? Well, your mini sub tank did not come out until this year.
Right.
Yeah, we wouldn't even be able to use blue foam or tea bags in your mods. I mean, you wouldn't be able to, because that technology came out in 2010.
So it's incredibly important to forward your message to the FDA onto your representative and explain to them that they need to force the FDA to change that grandfather date.
Well, let me stop you there real quick. The FDA has no authority to change the grandfather date.
Yeah.
Only Congress can do that. So if there's a call to action on this, and not people have responded to that. Everybody needs to
now's
go.
Your chance.
Everybody needs to go and do that too. That is specifically targeting your legislators and specifically asking them, hey, you maybe should consider changing that date. And they actually have to it has to go through an act of Congress to change that. It's not something the FDA has any authority over.
If you follow the guidelines that we have set for this FDA comment period and post that to your legislator, though, it's basically what we've asked is that you give a history of what you've used and how the technology has progressed over the last 8 years that it's been available. Right. And it's progressed so far, it's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And if you post that to your legislator and show them that that this is how far advanced we've come from what this grandfather date will allow, and we need you to change this because of this, then it will make them think twice.
Yeah. And Demons United, we've already hit on the CQ Engage or the CASAA thing, and that's very important for Arkansas. People in Arkansas need to jump on this now, because from the reports that I'm getting, they're really projecting that this could be on the governor's desk by Friday.
Yes.
But the other thing I wanted to talk about real quick, and this is on a technical thing, when the last FDA, the deeming comment, there were a lot of people that were writing their comments in the, because you have to comment directly on their website, and they were composing right in that window, and then they would click off to go find a fact or to go do something, and then come back and completely erase their comment. So everybody needs to make sure to use WordPad or Microsoft Word or whatever word processor that you have on your computer to do your actual, to author your actual comment. Save it on your computer, because you can also attach the Word file or the Microsoft, the text file, whatever, directly as an attachment also.
Also, if you don't have these the software, if you don't have Microsoft Word or don't know how to use Notepad or whatever, there is a link in the guidelines to OpenOffice, which is an online version of Office with Word and everything, so you can compose it on that as well. It's a free service.
And definitely make sure that you save your comment on your computer.
Yes.
Because we may ask for it in the future, and we also want you to send that to your legislator, so you already have it in a convenient place that you can just open it, select all, and cut and paste it into an email or attach it as a separate attachment.
Yep.
So I mean, that's just
and
a technical thing.
And you can also work on it over a couple of days. You don't have to write it all at once. You know, so if you do save it, you can work, because a lot of people work, so they only have a few minutes each night or half an hour or something.
Right.
Free time or whatever. So
and
break it up.
Online, so
specifically to spend some time to do it. So if you write something over, you might get while you're the next day, and you go home, look on your note on your phone and say, oh yeah, I want to talk about that real quick, and go and add another paragraph, and then over time you have until April 15th. So put some thought into it. Make sure that it's as detailed as you can get it, targeting these things. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be like, hey, I already did it. Well, but you might think about something later on, and if you saved it on your computer, you can go back and add it, and guess what? You can comment again.
Just remember, when your taxes are due, your comment is due.
Yeah.
There you go.
And actually, April 14th is my birthday. So after I'm done drinking on my birthday, I'm going to go and send my comment.
Celebrate Nacht's birthday by submitting comments to the FDA.
Yes, I'm old and decrepit.
Out in the FDA, like, hey, FDA.
That can be your present to Nacht. That can be your birthday present. Your birthday present to Nacht is an FDA comment. There you go.
I really need a good present, because every year on my birthday or the day after my birthday, I'm usually sending the IRS a big fucking check.
Yeah.
So
you get a 1020 for your birthday.
I want a good present. I want like 100,000 comments for my birthday. That would be awesome.
That would be lovely.
Nacht would have a big smile on his face. We'd finally get him to smile. Finally, he would smile for us and not just look all poopy all the time.
I don't look poopy all the time. Somebody told me that their wife saw me on the internet and said I have sad eyes.
See? Let's put a smile on that face.
I can't even, Pidlin Ninar. I always got a refund.
I think it's Pidlin in there.
It could be.
Pidlin Ninar.
I always got a refund until this current president took office, and now I don't get a refund. And I make less money. I don't know how that works. But anyway, back to the FDA thing. Everybody
well, that's one of the reasons. That's exactly one of the reasons why. This is why you need to submit your comment, because we need to keep, who wants to pay $52 for a bottle of juice? Or even if it's not even legal anymore, and you have to buy it on the black market. I mean, come on.
I always got a refund until Obama became president. But anyway.
Just had to get the last word in there, didn't you? Pidlin are you in Arkansas?
Yeah, well, then you need to be as active
as
you
you need
possibly
to start getting on that.
You need to jump on Arkansas CQ Engage, the thing from CASAA, and do it, and then start working on this letter.
Yep.
So anyway, I think we've covered everything. We've been on for way too damn long, and I'm gonna go eat my supper.
All right.
Any closing thoughts from you fellas, or from you fella and the beautiful Malice doll?
Thank you. I was just going to post this link one more time. Feel free to spread it around. If you need help, our email addresses are up at the top. So please reach out to us. Or find me on Facebook. Find Nacht on Facebook. Find Matt. Call his store. We are more than happy to help anybody in need. So thank you so much for coming and listening to us.
Yes, thank you, really.
And
all right.
Oh. And don't forget, how many of these are we doing one next week?
We are going to do these until hell freezes over, probably.
Okay, so next week, make sure that you are watching Vaping Militia, watching NBC, watching my Facebook page, Matt's Facebook page, for links on when we're doing this show again. And make sure you tell all your friends and have everybody come in here and we'll talk some more.
Yep.
Thank you. Thanks, Nacht. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, Cheryl was in here.
Cheryl came in at the last minute, I think. I don't know.
No, she's been here the whole time.
Damn. Hi, Cheryl. Bye, Cheryl. And close scene. Damn. Let me do that again.
Awesome show. Oh, we're still on?
Yeah. Good night.